for conventional masculinity, the aspects of conventional masculinity that are inconvenient to women's empowerment or whatever you want to talk about, that is always labeled as toxic. The stuff that when the floodwaters begin to rise in Mississippi and you need a man to come and help you get out of the house, then suddenly that's not toxic masculinity anymore. That's just being a gentleman and being noble and being chivalrous. And boy, I'm glad we have those guys around to save our asses.
I'm a scientist studying human mating behavior, and some sexism seems sexy. In research, it's common to treat sexism as a two-headed snake, right? You've got hostile sexism, beliefs like this, that suggest you don't really like women, right? This is very stereotypical misogyny.
Okay, so let's read these out.
Okay,
women exaggerate problems they have at work. Women are too easily offended. Most women interpret innocent remarks as being sexist. When women lose to men in a fair competition, they typically complain about being discriminated against. Women seek power by getting control over men. Women get a kick out of teasing men by seeming sexually available and then refusing male advances. And most women fail to appreciate all that men do for them. Now, here's the thing. I'm curious, because hopefully I'll have Mackin on my show this summer. If the statement was women exaggerate their problems at work more than men, would that still be sexist? As opposed to women or most women, would that still be sexist? Do you understand?
It's a sensitive subject.
Okay, let's keep going.
And then you've got beliefs like this, which suggest what we call benevolent sexism.
Okay, so let's look at benevolent sexism. Women should be cherished and protected by men. Men should be willing to sacrifice their own well-being in order to provide financially for the women in their lives. In a disaster, women need to be rescued first. Many women have the quality of purity that few men possess. Women, as compared to men, tend to have more refined sense of culture and good taste, and men are incomplete without women. So this comes almost like Southern United States chivalrous sort of like gentleman gang. But hold on. Mackin is saying that this is also sexist. Yes. This is also because it's infantilization and patronization of women. Go ahead.
Right. These beliefs are patronizing, but it would be hard to describe them as hateful. And while hostile sexism is unattractive to women, water is wet, benevolent sexists seem to be favored by women. And while this might seem paradoxical, these are the guys who want to pay for the bill, hold the door, and put women in the lifeboat first. These beliefs, infantilizing or not, advertise a willingness to protect and provide, which is a pretty fundamental part of a man's mate value. But carrot meets stick, benevolent and hostile sexism tend to correlate, right? So it's possible to be high in one or the other, but it's more likely that if you're high in one, you're also high in the other, unless you're unattractive. Recent research, consistent with other findings, indicates that men who women don't really like anyway, right, unattractive men, tend to adopt hostile but not benevolent sexist beliefs. So ironically, women disliking men predicts those men adopting beliefs that make them even more unlikable to women, which may function as a vicious cycle towards complete undesirability. And my feeling is, if you understood this video, then you also understand the romantic and political trajectories of many characters on the internet.
Okay, so let me first off by saying, Mackin, I love the shit out of women. Women are incredible, and I have no problem with them whatsoever.
Confusing yourselves.
The thing that I thought was interesting when it came to this was this idea of benevolent versus hostile sexism. Right. And I was the gentleman game. The fact that is still considered sexist. If you were to ask a lot of women, they would be like, "No, that isn't sexist."
Yeah,
so what do you think?
Because it works in their favor. That's why whenever I'm talking about we want to say toxic masculinity. Well, we kind of have to define what attributes of masculinity are quote unquote toxic, and what attributes are benevolent or the good.
When are you being a gentleman and when are you being sexist?
Remember, but one thing Mackin did say is that when men want to provide and protect, that is part of a man's mate value. That's an innate sex difference between men and women.
Exactly, which is why I say there's no such fucking thing as toxic masculinity. There is only masculinity, and there are aspects of it that are convenient and work very well in a gynocentric social order and work for women. And then there's aspects of it that women say, "Oh, I don't like that. It's ick. It's whatever it is. Like, I hate this aspect. Why do guys always do this? That kind of shit." The reason is that the same masculinity that causes a guy to go run into a burning fucking building and save the baby in the building is the same masculinity that makes those guys on Jackass go and do stupid, dangerous stunts. It's the same fucking thing. It's just in different contexts. One, we say, "Oh, he saved the baby," and the other one, it's like, why do guys always fucking do that? It's the exact same thing.
Why do we consider that masculinity? Like, dead ass.
Well, exactly. Why? Because
bullshit.
guys are going to be the first ones to run in to do that in the first place.
No,
guys are going to be the ones.
As a female, as a mother, as somebody that loves and endures children and people,
you're going to want to be
the first one to run into the building.
Yeah, and
You'll
when
be
you
the
run
first
into
one to hold me back.
But it's your testosterone and your assertiveness that cause you to want to do that.
So
it's a masculine trait. Yes.
Let me put it let me put it in a different.
I didn't know that.
Here's a different scenario for you. When we had the mass shooting here in Las Vegas, right? What, 2017? You had men who would get they would get in front. Yeah, I was going to say you had men who did not know women at this event who would throw themselves bodily in front of live ammunition just because that's what their protector instinct taught them to do, right?
Wow. Anybody mess with my son?
second mother was
But
there
it's
when it happened,
a uniquely masculine trait for men to want to put themselves in harm's way in front of women because eggs are expensive and sperm is cheap. That is a uniquely masculine aspect. So it's like for conventional masculinity, the aspects of conventional masculinity that are inconvenient to women's empowerment or whatever you want to talk about, that is always labeled as toxic. The stuff that when the floodwaters begin to rise in Mississippi and you need a man to come and help you get out of the house, then suddenly that's not toxic masculinity anymore. That's just being a gentleman and being noble and being chivalrous. And boy, I'm glad we have those guys around to save our asses.
So,
yeah.
Thank you.
Gotcha.
Rhiannon?
No, you didn't get me. I'm just trying to put my thoughts together.
Rhiannon,
I unfortunately and unfortunately have had the experience in my life where I've been married twice to like narcissistic men that didn't necessarily portray the masculinity that is desired.
Yeah.
And I've also been engaged to a man who's told me I need to stop being the man in the relationship, and I said, well, then you need to start being one.
Yep.
So I actually
soft.
developed a lot of masculine qualities myself because I had no choice.
Would you like me to tell you why that is? I'll tell you why. Because
Plus, I'm a mother.
Well, you're a mother on top of that. So you're looking for long-term security. You're looking for, as a mother, you're looking for provisioning, protection, and parental investment. And if you can't find the guy to do that, you have to take up that responsibility yourself. And the problem that I've said it a million times on this show is that one of the biggest problems that women have with men today is they don't trust men. Men are untrustworthy sons of bitches.
Absolutely.
And they are either incompetent, they are either borderline abusers, or they're like doofy, like, Homer Simpson, guys need mom to save them from themselves kind of thing. If that's the choices that women have of men right now, then what happens is they build lives around preparing for the worst, meaning like I can't trust a guy to be there to take care of the bills, to keep the lights on, to help feed the baby and everything else. So I have to build a life so that I can prepare for my own long-term security.
Absolutely.
When you get into those situations, the only thing that's left, as he was saying before, you become the man that you wanted to marry. Exactly. The only thing that's left is the guy that you want to fuck.
Exactly.
More or less.
But, and I realized, like, recently, obviously, because you both met my boyfriend, he's 5.5 years younger than me. It's the first time I've ever felt safe and secure, to the point where when you feel safe and secure and with a masculine man, it makes you revert back to the little girl inside of you.
Right.
Congratulations.
And it's the first time that I've actually able to feel giddy and little and taken care of. And this is by a man who's 5.5 years of my age.
Can you believe the misogyny that is coming out of this woman's mouth?
so
Can you believe
nice.
that?
No,
of course. Of course, I agree with what you're saying.
Sorry,
but the
Danny,
very
I
fact that
interrupted
you're
you.
saying it is offensive to other people.
You're going to say?
Sorry, not sorry.
Congratulations.
Unfortunately, I lose my thought.
Okay, no worries. No worries. It
You
happens.
said something
Me too.
to me.
Go ahead.
I'll give it a chance.
My friend from Calgary, she's in town right now, and we went out the other night, and one thing that she had to say was like, I am so grateful that you have these people around, because I am able to go out and not have to worry about anything. I know that everything is taken care of. And that's like one thing that like is really special to women, to not have to worry about like, where am I going? What is the plan? How am I getting there? How am I getting home? Etc.
Real talk, like Vegas actually is a pretty safe place to go out.
Agree.
I don't know. No one gets in fights here. I don't know a single person who's had their like car stolen that was like on the strip. I've never seen that. I think it's pretty.
Even
it's
at
pretty
Las
safe.
Chicas Bonitas.
It's Chicas Bonitas. Hold on, that's not on the strip, bro. That is in North Vegas. That's fucking Beirut, Lebanon, bro. That's North Vegas.
Here we go.